The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came to be through him, and without him nothing came to be. What came to be through him was life, and this life was the light of the human race. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. A man named John was sent from God. He came for testimony, to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but he came to testify to the light. The true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came to be through him, but the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, but his own people did not accept him. But to those who did accept him, he gave power to become children of God, to those who believed in his name, who were born not by natural generation, nor by human choice, nor by a man's decision, but of God. And the Word became flesh, and made his dwelling among us. And we saw his glory, the glory as of the Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. John testified to him and cried out, saying, "This was he of whom I said, the one who is coming after me ranks ahead of me, because he existed before me." From his fullness we have all received grace in place of grace, because while the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God, the only Son, God, who is at the Father's side, has revealed him. Today's Gospel is the prologue, the introduction to the Gospel of John. Mark begins his Gospel with a voice from heaven declaring that Jesus is his beloved Son at the baptism of Christ. Matthew and Luke start their Gospel with an angelic announcement of Christ's divine character at his conception. But John reaches all the way back in time before creation to identify Jesus as the Word who was God. There is no greater understanding of Jesus in the New Testament than in John 1:1. The Word was God, and John the Evangelist reminds us of this fact at the end of the Gospel when Thomas confesses Jesus as my Lord and my God. Christ is a divine being who is also the light, and God's only Son comes into the world and becomes flesh. He is rejected by his own people. He empowers all who do accept him to become God's children, so that they share in God's fullness, which is the gift of love that outdoes the loving gift of the law through Moses. John has successfully linked Jesus Christ with the Word of God at the beginning of creation. In Genesis, we see God speak the world into existence with the repetition of the phrase, "And God said." In the New Testament, God spoke his final word through his living Word, Jesus Christ.